I want to go through really quickly. Let's start at the beginning of the Cal era, and let's talk about the awesome moments. Are you ready?
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to do about 2 minutes of these. John Wall dance.
Of course.
Up against UConn in New York with Wall. North Carolina and Rupp Arena where we knew we were back. Marcus Cousins in the fight against Louisville where Cal says you messed with the wrong guy, right? Call me at Mississippi State with DeMarcus Cousins. The SEC tournament with the putback and the hug. We'll go to 2011. Brandon Knight in the NCAA tournament. Layup against Princeton. Jumper against Ohio State. Three-corner three by Liggins against North Carolina. Josh Harrelson peppers that ball against, what was the dude's name at Ohio State, the big guy?
Sullinger?
Sullinger, yes, peppers the ball against Sullinger. 2012, Anthony Davis blocks against North Carolina. Absolutely, we run Indiana off the floor in the NCAA tournament to make up for the regular season loss. We beat our in-state rival in the semifinal, and then we win the national championship. 2013 wasn't a great year, but before he got hurt, Nerlens Noel, 10 blocks at Ole Miss, a good Ole Miss team that won the SEC, and Nerlens sets the all-time record for blocks in a game before he gets hurt. 2014. The NCAA tournament run, the Wichita State shots throughout that game, one of the best tournament games I've ever seen. Kentucky and Wichita State in the second round, coming back against Louisville, hitting the corner three to beat them. Beat Michigan in the Elite Eight. Aaron Harrison with the shot. Final Four against Wisconsin. Aaron Harrison shot where Jim Nantz says this is the moment that he always hits it, and then he does. 2015. Beat UCLA. We're up like 41-6 at halftime in the Champions Classic. The platoon, the way we just absolutely dominated teams in 5-minute sequences, that was shocking to see. We go win at LSU, and Karl Towns does that interview where he comes up behind Cal during the postgame interview. The dunk Willie got at Florida that gets Rock Oliver out of his seat going crazy. 2016. Jamal Murray and Tyler Ulis. They win that game at Louisville, the game where Ulis ends up bleeding from his eyebrow. Yeah. All of the bow and arrow shots when Murray would hit threes. They go win the SEC tournament, I believe against Texas A&M, with all of those guys hitting a ton of shots. 2017. Fox Monk. How about Monk's game in Vegas against North Carolina,
yes,
where he absolutely goes insane? One of the best games I've ever seen an individual player play. In the NCAA tournament against UCLA, Fox versus Ball. The whole country waiting for it, and Fox cooks him
Kills
for
him.
39 points in an absolute amazing contest. 2018. Kentucky goes on the road at West Virginia. They're absolutely reeling. They get down like 17, and then Kevin Knox and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bring them back to get a win. In the NCAA tournament that year, they get, Arizona or whatever gets upset. They end up playing, of all people, Nate Oates up in Boise, beat Buffalo, go to the Sweet 16. 2019 with Tyler Herro. How much fun was it watching that kid develop through the course of the year? The buzzer beater against Houston that ends up sending you to the Elite Eight. That game in Rupp Arena where they went absolutely nuts against Auburn and ended up beating them by like 40, even though they lost regular of the year. Even in 2020, the tournament that didn't end up happening, Tyrese Maxey against Michigan State on the night, Billy, that I got kicked off the radio by Mitch McConnell.
That's right.
He goes up at the Champions Classic and absolutely dominates in an amazing performance. And then during the season, they get the tip in by E.J. Montgomery at the buzzer to beat Florida in what would end up being the last game of the year. Go to the COVID year. A lot of bad memories, but what about Dante Allen down at Mississippi State? The kid from Kentucky goes off for 27. We end up getting our biggest win of the year on the road at Mississippi State when they go and beat Florida on the road that year. Then the next season, Oscar Tshiebwe, all of a sudden this dude comes out of nowhere, ends up being National Player of the Year. We go beat Kansas by 20. The team that ends up winning the national championship, Keon Brooks hits all those shots throughout that season. An absolutely awesome run. Even last year when things weren't going very, very well. How about Antonio Reeves at Arkansas? Scores what? Was it 37?
37, yeah.
On the road to get a victory that everyone, I mean everyone, thought we were going to lose. We did the same thing that year at Tennessee. And then this year, kid from the 13th region from Kentucky, the 5th of 5 ranked recruits, comes in and ends up being National Freshman of the Year. For a while, this team was the most fun team to watch. Antonio Reeves, Rob Dillingham, and Reed Shepard, as good a threesome of shooting as you could ever happen. They go win at Auburn, they go win at Tennessee, they win at Arkansas, and end up having a special year throughout most of it. So all of that, as I sat there and talked for 5 straight minutes and gave you all those games, you pictured every single one of those moments. To me, that will be in 10 years what we think of John Calipari, and that's really important to remember. And now I'm out of breath, so why don't we take a break and be right back? It's KSR.